So, guys, what's the tea? What's going on in Abby's life? What are we gonna spill? The secrets. There's no secrets. Sorry to spoil the fun. I don't really do these sit down and chat ones. I'm just trying to like get a good angle for you. You should see this setup right now. It's quite funny. Hold on, let me just really adjust this camera. Sorry, I posted on my Instagram asking you to send me in questions. So I'm gonna answer them for you right now. From what I'm gathering, there are a lot of advice about London, a lot of advice about resolutions, stuff like that. So I think let's just like get right into it, shall we? Whereabouts in New Zealand are you from? And why did you move to London? So I'm from Wellington, New Zealand, Petone Beach. I lived there my whole life. We've always lived at Petone, my mother and I. We used to have a little apartment. I don't know if you even know New Zealand that well, but we had an apartment on Jackson Street, which was like the one street away from the beach. Loved it. It's a fabulous place. Felt like I always wanted to live in Auckland, but like looking back on it now, I'm really happy I grew up in Wellington, because Auckland, I think I would have like, Auckland's the biggest city in New Zealand and Wellington's the capital city. And I feel like I would have maybe like fallen into the scene a little bit. And at the time I was growing up, it was kind of like, it was the time when there was a lot of stuff with Auckland high schools in the news, and if you were there, you were there. You know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I loved Wellington. Actually didn't do my whole high schooling life in Wellington. I went in my last year of high school, I went and did a year in Victoria, BC in Canada, which was the funnest thing I've ever done. It was so fun. I pretty much did just like a high school exchange and lived with a completely new family who I didn't know for a year. And then I came back from Canada, and then I moved to Dunedin and I did my degree in Otago at Otago University, which is really fun. And that was, again, if you know, you know, it was chaotic and a big party and just the best time. And then from there I moved to Auckland. So I feel like if you were to ask me where I was from, it would be Wellington, but I definitely moved around a bit. And for the last like, I don't know, 6 years, I feel, before I moved to London, I was living in Auckland, and that's where I met Max, and that's where I kind of like started life a bit more. So why did I move to London? I feel like it's the same question that everybody gets. You kind of want what you don't have. Like a lot of people are like, why would you leave New Zealand to come to like this grey city? And I was like, but there's so much happening here. I love it. I'm a city girl at heart. Like really, I don't, like, I mean, I miss New Zealand, but I don't miss the kind of way of life as much as some people do. Like I'm really not needing to go to the beach or needing to go and step out in nature. Like I love being in the streets with like a million people around me, which is weird for some people because people just want to like escape that. I like thrive. So that's why I moved here. London wasn't like our first choice. I just wanted to move to a big city, and London at the time made sense because my mum was living here. And we started off here and we were moving to Canada, to Toronto, and that's where we were going to settle, but again it didn't really work out, so we can delve into that into another time as well. I also have a British passport, so it was really easy for me to get here. Max doesn't, which is very annoying. We've been really trying to get through the visas. Advice for non-UK folks moving to London. Depends where you're from. Maybe you mean like being in the city, like the new, okay, I think I get what you mean. I think you mean like, once you get here, what advice? Not like, what can I do in preparation? In terms of finding a job, I would get a recruiter. That's what I did when I first started here. I got like a few recruiters on my books and they were all searching for jobs for me. I feel like that's not as common. It's definitely not common in New Zealand to get a recruiter to find you a job. But it was really common here when I first moved, so that was a really big tip. I think sorting out as much of the admin stuff, if you're coming from internationally, like sorting out all that admin stuff as soon as you can. Don't like leave anything to the last minute, and it's gonna feel like hell because you would have just moved and you would just be in this new city. You don't know anyone, you don't know anything, you just want to like relax and chill for a bit because you've just got here. But getting that all out the way is gonna like be so helpful. Like things like your NHS, I can't even remember what they are anymore. Your NHS numbers, is that a thing? Or like your tax number, your tax codes, all that kind of registering for a doctor, like getting a bank and all that. In terms of finding friends, I realize it's a really lonely city, and it can be really hard to make friends here. I think I'm quite blessed in the way that I work in social media, and you know, I can easily just, I usually make friends by just like DMing people and asking if they want to like go for a coffee, or vice versa, they do the same to me. I know that there's a ton of like girl meetup groups. Keep your eyes tuned. Stay tuned for potential things happening with me and something like this. Yeah, like girls meetup groups are huge to find and make connections. I think just really like pushing yourself to be awkward and uncomfortable. Chances are you probably know some person who lives here, and then that person will have friends and that person's friends will have friends. So just really pushing any connection you have and honing in on that and fostering that, and then going for a single date coffee, and then go into a group dinner, and then extending and extending, and just letting people know you're new. Be like, hey, I'm new, want to hang out? Like, that's what I would say. What do you like best / least about living in London? What do I like best? What I like best about this city is the opportunity that you can have. Like, I can't even believe what I do for work. I think it's insane how I'm doing social media now, and I think that's the coolest thing of my life that I could have ever done. But even if you don't do that, like the opportunities here compared to being in New Zealand are amazing. So career is just huge for me. I also like feeling like I'm in a really big like what's the word, like a hub, like a huge big hub of so many different like cultures and economics and I don't know, businesses and brands, and just feeling like you're in like the thrall of it all. Like I like feeling like that, like you're in a mega city. That's it, a mega city. I love that feeling. I think that's really cool. I also love the travel aspect. I love to travel, and I tell you what, like you guys, when you talk about, you know, why would you leave from New Zealand? It's because you can see everything else. Oh, another thing I really love, the public transport. People bitch about the tube. The tube is amazing. I cannot believe how it even works, one, but it's slightly overpriced, I think, but like also it's just like you're traveling so far. Like I think if you come from a place where there's no public transport, I mean, well, there's just bad public transport, it really makes a difference. What do I like least about it? It's expensive. I mean, I don't know if this is, I don't think it's controversial at all, actually. The bloody health system. I think I can say that coming from New Zealand because we also have free healthcare. Obviously, it's such a blessing to have free healthcare, and if you're an American viewer, I sympathize with you so wholeheartedly that you do not. But compared to back home in New Zealand, just the way the healthcare system is run is, and it's just because of the sheer mass of people, I'm sure, and underfunding of, I'm assuming, everything. But it's really hard to get a doctor's appointment. It's really hard to have a family doctor. Like, I don't have a family doctor. I'm just like registered to a doctor's, and like I see someone different every time, and that just feels really weird and impersonal. And I just feel back home it's just a bit easier. And I mean, but again, I understand. So if you're in the NHS, I get it, but I just, I wish that could be improved a little bit. It's not that safe. I don't like thinking that I'm gonna get robbed all the time, and like my phone's gonna be snatched and they're gonna steal all my money. And you know, that's happened to so many of my friends, actually. Not so many, but like a decent few of my friends. My mom's phone got snatched the other week. Yeah, that's not fun. But again, big city, like I get it. Like you just gotta be alert and be on. Okay, how did you end up living in the suburb that I live in. This person seems to know my suburb, and I'm not gonna put it there on camera. I live with my mum. I've said that so many times, guys. This is not my flat as much as I wish it was. It's not. She's never here. She travels all the time for work. So we temporarily are living here because I moved back last year from Toronto. We could only really move from Toronto, like cost-wise, because we were able to live at my mom's house, which is such a blessing. Like, I'm very much aware of how much of a blessing this is. So we live here for a bit, and then obviously I quit my job for social media, and that was entirely risky of me, and I, as much as I wanted to, wasn't prepared to leave and kind of start that new chapter yet without kind of understanding like my financial, one, if I could even do this financially, which I can, yay for me, but yeah, it just was an extra kind of pressure that we probably didn't need to put on ourselves. I mean, I'm sure you know, if you move cities, countries, you kind of hemorrhage money, like you really do. So we're kind of still catching up from that. We essentially moved from New Zealand to London to Toronto and back to London, all within the span of 2 years, which is just our path, and it was a lot of money, but I'm glad we did it because we found out where we wanted to be. But yeah, it was, yeah, that's why we're here. I remember when I first moved here, I used to say that like, people would be like, where are you from? Well, how do you live in this house? And I like say it all the time, and then it's just kind of like, oh, okay, if you're not up to date, let's get up to date. But here we are again saying, again, I'm still at this house. We plan to move out next year, once Max gets all of his visa kind of underway. Again, like there's all these just things that need to be done before us to like move it out of the house, but Mum will still be here. So everyone who asks me, are you moving out of your house? No, it's still in the family. It'll still be here. Okay, what did you do before doing social media for the first time? I think it's supposed to say full time. I was like, that doesn't make sense. So what did I do? I did a lot of different jobs. I predominantly worked in like PR, communications, marketing, events, that kind of realm. My first job was in social media. From there I moved into like more digital and like e-commerce kind of stuff, which also social media and influencer work. I worked for Benefit Cosmetics back in New Zealand as the digital advocate associate thing. I think that's what it was called, I can't remember. It was a really small team of 5 or 6, and I was the only one in that role, so it was a lot of work and it was intense, but it was really fun. And I always wanted to work in kind of fashion or beauty or that kind of realm. Not really beauty, I wasn't really into beauty, but I was really into fashion, and obviously like a big brand like Benefit was so exciting to work for. I also worked at Estee Lauder companies in the online department there. I worked across a variety of brands there, like Jo Malone and MAC and La Mer, Clinique. Again, another really, really great experience. I think my biggest things that I wanted to do when I was in New Zealand was work for international companies, because I kind of knew my whole life I wasn't going to stay in New Zealand. I really wanted to move overseas, so it was really a big factor in all the jobs that I wanted to do, was so that when I did move overseas, sorry, people would recognize the companies that I worked for, and it wasn't just working for like a local New Zealand company that they didn't really understand the breadth of the role, and also to show like that I know how to work across international markets and like on a global scale. That was really important to me, so I really pined for those types of jobs. Oh, and I also did a lot of like freelance work in between. Like I used to work, my mum works in sports, so I used to work for various like sporting events and stuff like that, doing a lot of freelance content stuff. Content as in like almost like writing rather than like photography and social content. And then I moved here and I decided my whole kind of career was in the beauty industry, which was kind of weird because I didn't really want to be in the beauty industry, and it felt like I was narrowing myself in, and I really wanted to be in a big money industry, so I decided I'd try this job in esports, which was super random, but I learned probably the most about myself and about my work in that job. I was the communications manager for Global Esports Federation. I got to travel the world and do all these amazing things there. We went to Chile, we went to Turkey. I got to work remotely, so I worked in London with that job, and then I took it with me to Toronto. Like, it was a really, really good job. My final job for quitting was working at Condé Nast. So I would do essentially like brands like, I don't know, Prada and Calvin Klein would want to create campaigns with Vogue and be associated with Vogue. Like, I did one with Nespresso for Teen Vogue in LA, and then obviously I was based in London, like facilitating it, and then we did one for Calvin Klein with Vogue, GQ, I think that was it, and maybe, I can't remember, a lot for like Vanity, a lot like that. And so then the creative team would come up with these amazing concepts, and then there'd be like a talent element to it, so we would help facilitate all the talent on that shoot. In that campaign, which was really fun, the funnest thing I've ever done. I learned so much, and then I moved into like project management there, so essentially doing more of the managing of those whole campaigns rather than just the talent piece. So yeah, that was my dream job, but I decided social media was something I had to try before I settled into life with kids and things like that, so I really wanted to take the leap and try social. Okay, that was so long-winded. Guys, I'm not very good at this, like, being short. Okay, what do you think about the Matilda J Avenue scandal? Oh my god. Okay, so you know what? I'm really pissed off. I think she could have handled the whole thing so much better. Me having worked in crisis comms and PR, like, it was just a shit show. Like, I don't know what she was doing. I was so confused because I actually heard murmurings about this before it came out, through some connections I have about that documentary thing. And I just kind of thought it was like a bit of a hoax. Like, I was like, this is like, I don't know if that's real, because this girl, Matilda, who I just met the week before and was lovely, so wonderful, and has been like an idol of mine for many years. It just didn't make any sense for her to kind of conduct herself in that way, knowing with her being so incredibly successful. Like, that's not something you can take away from her. She's a very incredible businesswoman, clearly. She knows about public perception and image, so it was really confusing to me to think that any of those things could be true, because I was like, this girl's a businesswoman. There's no way she's going to handle herself in that way in front of other people, and especially to people that she knows. Like, she grew up in this cancel culture like we all do. Like, it was just really confusing to me. So, I mean, I'm still confused about how that's the way she would handle herself with employees. But if it is, I mean, but then she did the whole public apology and everything, so I can't say, but if it is true, it seems like it's true. So my opinion is it's disappointing. It just seems really against the grain of what she posts about and what she stands for. So I think that's why it's really weird and bizarre. But I did meet her and she was lovely. Yeah, it was just a really crazy week. What a week. It wasn't on my bingo card at all. Okay, next one. Skincare. You're glowing. Thanks so much. So kind. I'm really bad at skincare. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I want to get better at it. That's kind of what I'm hoping to do a lot more of before the wedding. But I think why I'm glowing is my Profilo injection. I will die on the hill with this thing. Let me just look it up before I don't tell you what it isn't. Hyaluronic acid moisturizing treatment. So it's a skin booster. There's nothing, it's not doing anything to your face. It's literally like hyaluronic acid that you put on your face. They inject it in your skin instead, which sounds really invasive and scary. And I will tell you, it does hurt. But they do like 5 points here, I think. And It's changed my whole life. My skin looks so, I will say my skin looks so different from doing it. And that's probably not the answer you wanted to hear, sorry. But in terms of like skincare products I use day to day, let's have a look, shall we? Let's see what's on the counter right now. I really just change it up all the time. Right now we've got Rhode Barrier Restore Cream. I've got the Summer Fridays Jet Lag Mask. I kind of interchange those two. I've just started using this, the Jet Lag Overnight Eye Serum. This is what my counter looks like at the minute. It's a little bit messy behind the scenes. This is my body moisturizer. I do love this. This is a Dermalogica liquid peel foliant. This is really, really good. I love that. And then what else do I use? I've got the fluid, the glazing fluid. That's nice. The glazing milk, and I have the glazing fluid. I like the glazing milk better. I love to use like a spray when I come out of the shower, like a hydration spray. This is what I've got at the minute. Jet Lag Skin Soothing Hydration Mist, but I also have a quarterly one. This is my makeup remover. I don't even know if it's makeup remover, but it's what I use. Augustina Spada, the cleansing balm. It works really well. Yeah, if I was gonna say buy any product, I feel like if you want to get like really smooth skin, this one's really good. The Dermalogica one. And then, yeah, that's really it. Oh, exfoliant, it's in the other bathroom. This is my Ride or Die exfoliation. Dermalogica, again, multivitamin thermofoilant. Let me just get that zoomed in for you. Here she is. It's really good. I love it. Okay, back to the Q&A. Where were we? Tips on growing your socials and receiving PR from brands. What was your strategy? Again, guys, I've just made a video about this. Like, so stay tuned for that. And I think I might do like a proper separate video on actual, because I kind of just rambled about being a content creator and like my journey, because I just wanted to do like a little summary about my year because it's been my first year. But I think tips, those are kind of 3 different questions for me. So I'm gonna like hone into one, and then maybe I'll do another video on like actually like being a content creator, and I'll write like notes. But receiving PR from brands, my strategy for that was finding the PR companies. Like, instead of, especially in the UK, I know a lot of the seeding and a lot of the beauty PR comes from beauty PR companies, rather than from the brands themselves. The brands themselves usually focus on like the paid campaigns if they are doing any, and the PR agencies would send the products. That's what I found so far. So finding any contacts at those big beauty PR agencies or any PR agencies in your country probably helps. And then what I would do is, if you live in the city, I always would email them and just ask for a coffee. That would be my first kind of point of action, to just kind of introduce yourself in person. And then, you know, just say, you know, do a little pitch email like, I'm a creator, this is what I focus on, here's my content, I love XXX brand, I would love to like catch up with you for a coffee and just discuss any new launches that they're doing, and see if any, and like also just like introduce myself and like get to know your company a bit better. If you're not in the place, obviously just a pitch email, it works fine as well. My strategy was just like all go. I was really just outreaching a lot, and also like trying to make a name for myself by meeting as many people as I can. That was my strategy to do that. Goals for 2025. Goals for 2025, so many goals. London Girls Club. We've said this last year, but I really mean it this year. I think I've got some actual proper plans of what this can be. If you don't know London Girls Club, go have a look. And stay tuned, because I think once I get that off the ground, it's going to be really exciting. I've always wanted to build a business, not just do content, so I really want to like get that going. I can't believe that I'm also going to be married at the same time. That's a bit weird, and I don't know why I take on so much at once, but that's me. I really want to work with some specific brands. Like, I really want to work with Dyson. I've been getting gifting from Dyson, which is amazing, but I'd love to be in a paid campaign with Dyson. I want to work in a paid campaign with Rhode. I want to, you know, really meet people at these companies, like the proper people at these companies. Like I want to go to LA and have a meeting with someone at Rode. You know what I mean? Like I just want to like really push myself to be in front of people and make a name for myself. More so than growth on social media, I want to be like a full personality and a person, and people go, oh, there's that girl. It doesn't matter how many followers she has. You know, like maybe I'm in the media for doing something. Like I really loved my anthropology hosting Q&A because it felt like I was doing something outside of the screen. So yeah, more stuff like that is on my 2025 goal list. Final question, and my camera is really running out of battery. Okay. Best advice for young girls. I feel if you are given the opportunity and you have the opportunity, study and educate yourself. I think education is the most important thing we can all have in anything. Doesn't have to be anything conventional, but just learn and have knowledge on, you know, the world and just like particular topics that interest you. I think having the right to education is such a privilege, so harness that and utilize that, and from that learn how to make your own life that isn't reliant on anyone else. I think my mum's always taught me that, you know, never rely on like a man for money. You should always have your own personal finances and value. Live your life for you and yourself, and don't let negative people and negative naysayers get you down in that, because in the end it's your life and you should really live it how you want to live it. Yeah, I think study, make your own money, find what drives you in life, have girlfriends, they're the best. Just be young and enjoy being young. That's what I would do. I still feel like I'm enjoying being young for as long as I can.